Hey y'all, Halfmilesniper here, and we are back in the garage, and as you notice, we got the rifle on the bench, which means it must be getting time to take a look down the bore. So, that's what we're going to do. We're right at 750 rounds now with the 6.5 PRC, and we're going to see how bad that bore is looking. And we're going to get it cleaned up and see just how bad the throat is eroding. So, give me another minute or two to get things together, and I'll bring y'all right back. And in the meantime, y'all sit back, kick your feet up, enjoy the ride. So, we got the Borescope set up and ready to go. And I'm going to do something different first, because last time we did a Borescope video on this rifle, somebody wanted to see what it looked like without the mirror. So, we are going to pull our bolt. And let me remove the mirror, and we will take a look and see just how, oh, don't want to drop and break that mirror, see just how ugly the bore looks. Got to be extra careful when doing it this way, because what happens is you can knock the little lens out of the end of the So as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself with a cough, got to be extra careful because you can knock the lens right out of the end of that camera. And this is what the bore looks like without the mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 6 grooves. And that's what the dirty bore looks like after 750 rounds. It's a little over 100 rounds since we last cleaned it. Okay, let me back out, and I want to put the mirror back on, and we'll get a closer look at the throat. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it kind of looked like a dirty old pipe. Let's see, where did my light go? There we go. Back it out a little bit. There's the throat. Doesn't look too bad dirty. We'll see how it looks when we get it cleaned up. Yeah, I think we did the last, ooh, can see some alligator skin starting even dirty there. We did the last Borescope at like 640 rounds, and we're at 750 now. We might have been just shy of 640. The bore is looking very dark. So, crown looks good though. Okay, so we're going to back this out carefully so we don't crack our mirror. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and scrub the bore, get it cleaned out, and we'll see, take a look at how the copper's laying down. We'll clean the copper out and then get a good look at the throat erosion. So I'll bring it back after I've scrubbed the bore down and we get down to the copper or carbon, whichever. Okay, so the sharp-eyed viewer will notice that I've pulled the cheek riser, and put in my bore guide. The only downside to the Oryx that I'm finding so far is the fact that you have to remove your cheek riser to get a cleaning rod down the bore in some fashion of a straight shot. So all I've done is hit it with a little bit of Hoppy's number 9, and let's see how the bore is looking. Okay, we're in the bore guide. There's the tip, chamber, shoulder maybe. Yeah, that's the shoulder. And now we can see the flame cutting in the throat a little bit better. Got a lot of carbon. Got a little bit of a carbon ring after 100 rounds. Curious what that is. A little bit of lint. And it looks like we got a lot of carbon in the bore. Right now it doesn't look like a lot of copper, but we're definitely wearing through the nitride or melanite. I think it's nitride finish. See how the copper's looking out at the bore. Actually, it doesn't look bad, but we won't know for sure until we get the carbon out. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. And I will, again, not bore y'all with the act of me scrubbing the bore, because nobody needs to watch that really. So I'm going to hit it with some carbon destroyer, not CLR, using a commercial product from Modern Spartan Systems, and we'll see how it looks once we get the carbon out of the bore. I am going to sit down for a minute because that was just a lengthy run of pulling nasty black patches out of the bore. I think there was a lot of carbon in there. So let's get a look and see how it looks now that the carbon's cleaned out, or hopefully cleaned out, and we'll see what the copper situation looks like. Okay, Borescope is recording. Let's see, that would be our shoulder, our neck. Okay, that looks a lot better. Not seeing much in the way of a carbon ring, but that throat erosion, flame cutting there at the throat, has definitely grown. See a little bit of copper in the bore there. Looks pretty clean down the middle of the bore. A few copper streaks. Looks like we're starting to grow a little bit. And actually, that's not looking that bad at all. Let me back out and pull the mirror off, and we'll see how it looks in a straight line run, since that's what folks wanted to see last time. Again, I have to be extra careful so as not to knock that little lens off the end of that camera. Otherwise, we'll never get it to focus. Okay, here we are back in the bore guide. Looking at it this way, we see a little bit of copper all the way down the bore. Not bad. There's one of those rings, which we'll talk about that in a minute. for 100 plus rounds, that's really not that much in the way of copper. Cool. So, at the arm, yeah, I have no idea why the alarm started going off. So, as I was saying, for 100 rounds, the copper situation doesn't look that bad. But we're going to go ahead and clean it out anyways because I need to make some more 6.5 ammo, and I want to make some with the 127 grain LRX copper rounds. So I will clean it. We'll foul the barrel with the prior copper rounds I made that didn't shoot worth a squat, and then we'll try the 127 grain stuff, but I still have to make that. So all in all, the bore's not looking too bad. We'll see how the copper cleaning goes, and we'll bring y'all back, and we'll take another look down that bore. Alrighty, while I am letting the copper solvent soak for a minute to do its job, I remember what I was getting ready to say before the stinking car alarm went off. At the armorer's class I went to last week, one of the instructors was the gunsmith, and we were talking about rifling. And I specifically explained to him how the bore on this hollow looks with those occasional rings. And he is of the same mindset that it was probably from the button as the broach was pulling the rifling button through the bore, that it was the broach for whatever reason was hesitating. And as that button comes down the bore, it spreads the metal out, metal relaxes back behind it, but when it stops, it spreads and holds and doesn't relax quite as much. So it could be that the button was getting old, perhaps sticking, or the run of barrel that they were doing, because they don't just rifle one barrel, they run a whole stick and then cut them down into barrels. Could have been something with the whole run, but he agrees that it's probably because of the broach hesitating. Okay, well, we've been letting this soak for about 3.5, almost 4 minutes now. So I am going to get on it, scrub it with a nylon brush, and hit it with some dry patches. I'll bring you back when it's time to look down the bore. Okay, so I punched the bore with dry patches, and as you can see, we got a whole pile of patches here now, and that last stack are all pretty blue. Surprised because it didn't look like there was that much copper down the bore. The only other thing I did after punching that is I ran a patch with 91% alcohol to stop any leftover copper solvent, push it out, and hopefully dry the bore. So let me start the bore cam. Bore cam is running. There's the fitting. And it's still a little bit wet there in the shoulder. Most of that's alcohol, I think, just laid on real heavy. Yeah, I'm going to push a couple dry patches through, and I'll bring you right back. We'll take another look in a second. Okay, let's see if this looks any better. I ran about 4 dry patches through. Bore cam is running. Shoulder, there we go. Yeah, that flame cutting at the throat doesn't look like it grew much after 600 rounds, or 640. I'll have to cross-check. A lot of bare steel. Not seeing much in the way of golden look. Very good. Rifling's looking nice and sharp, and well, a little bit of gold in the reflection there. Not much though. I think we'll take one more quick look down the bore without the mirror, even though I don't like to do that. Let's see how it looks this way. Got some trash right there at the in the chamber. Looking at it this way, it doesn't look like there's much left of the rifling, but when we look at it with the mirror, we can see the shoulders of the lands and grooves very nicely. It doesn't look that bad. I counted 5 rings, which, as I said, when I spoke with the gunsmith at the armor class I was in, his speculation is the same that I had, that it was that the brooch stopped or hesitated as they were pulling the rifle button through. Okay. Only thing I have left to do here is clean the bolt and reassemble. So, hang on. Well, let's get the bore guide out of the game. We'll need that for our next video, because our next video will be taking a look down the bore of the 6 Creedmoor at like 150 rounds. We'll see how that thing's progressing. But right now, let's take a look at the bolt and look for any unusual wear here. Clean the bolt face. Pardon me while I clean out underneath the extractor. Bolt face looks really good. No unusual wear around the firing pin hole. Everything looks real good with that bolt. I'm going to give it just a little bit of oil and we'll stick it back together. Then the only thing I have left to do is take a rag and dry out the brake, because we don't want any weird hydraulic action being imparted on the rounds at that brake. Looking at this bolt, it sure does not look like a bolt that has been run more than 700 times. There's hardly any wear from working back and forth right through here. Whatever the steel is made out of, or whatever kind of steel that is, the nitride finish definitely adhered nicely. Nice. And now we put this back in. Fingers are slickery. And we are right there. Cool. Very good. Okay. Not too shabby. The Howa 1500 is holding up well for 750 rounds right now. And I get this. If I were to go back, I would take this to Eric Cortina's because it's not a competition rifle. A lot of people think it is. It's a $480 Howa 1500 hunting rifle. Bought the barreled action from Brownells. I've done nothing to it other than shoot it. Still running the original trigger, and as you know, it's at 3.5 pounds for the trigger pull. All I did was drop it in an Oryx chassis and put a brake on it. So, it's just a hunting rifle. It's given me a couple of really good groups. A little bit heavy of a hunting rifle, but it is a stock, off-the-shelf, barreled action. Okay, give me a minute to finish cleaning things up. Alrighty, y'all. Well, brake has been dried out. Rifle's cleaned. I'm going to build some more copper hunting rounds using the 127 grain, the Barnes 127 grain LRX, to see if we can get any better results, because this rifle did not like those 130 grain TSX. So we'll see how that works out. Y'all have watched this rifle from brand new. We're at 750 rounds now. And next time we take a look at it, we'll be somewhere between 850 and 900 rounds. At 1,000, we're, according to all guesstimates, at 1,000 rounds, we'll be 2/3 of the way through the barrel life. I will double check what the throat wear looks like from the last time we scoped the bore to now. See if that flame cutting has increased much. Between, what was it, like 500 and 640, there was a huge jump. But doesn't look like it jumped too much now. So, hope y'all enjoyed that. It's good to have the rifle clean. Now I can do another copper test and hopefully not be affected by gilding material in the bore. We'll just have copper. So I'll give that test another try, just to see if it works out. So I appreciate y'all hanging with me. I really do. Had fun at the giveaway the other night. Congratulations to all the big winners. And next video, we'll be taking a look down the bore of the 6 Creedmoor at about 150 rounds. So, Halfmilesniper, as always, reminding y'all, carry everywhere you can. Stay strapped or get clapped, as the saying goes. Get a CCW if you need one. If you're in a constitutional carry state, get a CCW anyways. You may travel. Not everyone recognizes constitutional carry. And you know what? It's nice to have that piece of king's permission should you run into that guy. And by that guy, I mean the cop who doesn't understand the right to carry. They are out there. So, as always, y'all stay safe, keep shooting. We'll catch you next time.
Send it. Hit.